Hey everyone, we're going to do a series of reviews of 2022 URTeC papers with RevoChem applications. Those applications are in many different basins, including Delaware Basin, Anadarko Basin, DJ Basin, and as well as the Midland Basin. Okay, with that, we will go to the first one. So the first one is co-authored with Occidental. It is two case studies, one in the central Delaware Basin, the other one is in the southern Delaware Basin. What's unique about this data set is that the richness of that data. Not only geochemistry data, but we also have a lot of log data, NMR, other petrophysical data to corroborate with our static reservoir characterization indices. But most importantly, there's many independent reservoir monitoring data such as downhole life pressure gauges, geophones for microseismic, as well as well interference test. Of course, in the end, all those are cross-validated with reservoir production data, look at the well performance. In general, the key observation is that the SRV, which is characterized by the microseismic event when the well was fracked, versus the drainage rock volume, which is observed through geochemistry, in the early stage are generally in alignment with each other. However, once well put online, it seems to be impacted by many different behavior that the production data are consistently showing consistency with the geochemistry observation, but not necessarily consistent with the SRV observation, which is at the beginning of the life of the well. So with that, let's dive into it. So this is the comparison between our RQI data, RCI data, which include RQI, which is the reservoir quality index, a matrix permeability indicator, and oil in place index, which is oil saturation indicator, where you see a high RQI, where you see high permeability is where you really see a long T2, and if you look at, in both cases, while the oil saturation is also in general agreement with the oil saturation from the log data. And then we're getting to the dynamic part of it. Like I mentioned, it's a very data-rich data set. The operator also have a dedicated vertical monitoring well where they have 15 live pressure gauges and also 13 geophones for microseismic. In general, we see agreements between the geochemical drainage profile versus the microseismic. However, that's not always the case. We'll see in next page when those two are not necessarily completely same as each other. And then we also have the pressure gauges. This is the pressure wave. However, the well was put online in a sequence so that the blue is well 1. However, the orange is a well 1 combined with well 2. It's hard to deconvolve those two. However, vertically, if you look at the drainage from the geochemistry, it is showing well 1 and well 2 are having limited overlap. So here, the limited overlap. That's also confirmed by well performance. This is water-oil ratio where you see the well 1 and the well 2 are not draining, definitely not draining the same rock volume, right? It's showing very different. However, there are also cases where you see this is a microseismic, the wells 3 and 5, the 2 and 4 are showing a very heavily overlapped drainage. You would think that those wells are draining very similarly, but that's not necessarily the case. Not every part of your SRV are contributing to your drainage. When you look at the GOR behavior of those wells, they're clearly not draining the same rock volume, which is supporting what we see from drainage-wise. So again, emphasizing the difference between the SRV, the DRV, and also what is consistently corroborate very well with the well performance, which is reflected by the production data. Another interesting application in this case study show is how the operator was able to use the oil drainage data to help optimize their landings to minimize water production. In this case, the well 1 and 2, which is landed in the formation D, are showing a much higher water cut, the red curve versus the blue. From the oil drainage, the well is showing majority of its oil contribution is coming from below the landing, which is also reflected by microseismic. However, microseismic is also showing above the landing, the fracture did reach out to there. When you combine those data, this is indicating that for above the landing, it is only contributing to your water production, but majority of your oil production is coming from below. With this understanding, then we could lower the well 2 and well 1 landing so that you're closer to your oil production and further from where your water saturation is. With that, that's all I would like to say for paper 1.